But Nate, I want to come to you because the other thing that I think is maybe the most shocking from this past weekend to me, for Penn State and all of their secrecy, all of their tight photos, all of their, hey, don't report on X, Y, or Z if like open practice rules and things for us. They're opening up a practice to the public coming up next weekend. So Can you explain the story that we got from how this all came to be and what fans should expect next Saturday, and give us the details so if people are interested in going, they can partake in this practice? Because James Franklin also set the whole thing up with, hey, there's going to be some ground rules, and I was like, oh, this is going to be fascinating how this goes.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm gonna redirect the news dump part of that to Sean. He can handle it. He can look for it as I spend the next 5 minutes talking about the things that I think are funny about this, which is mostly that. So they're gonna have an open practice, and the public is invited. Obviously, it is a perk for Happy Valley United NIL members, right? There's gonna be a pre-practice autograph signing, which, given the fact that Nick Singleton and Abdul Carter were in Philly, in February, I think it was, signing autographs at $50 per is probably a pretty good deal, right? For Penn State fans that want to get up close and personal with some of those guys. So yes, it does seem out of the norm. There were a few points that I think are somewhat funny, and maybe Fitz can attest to this. One being James saying that he didn't always have coordinators that were comfortable with it. As though this was something he's been dying to do this. He's been dying to let everyone in and watch practice. But you know what? Joe Moorhead just couldn't come around to it. Like that wasn't his cup of tea to open up.
This is all Brent Pry's fault. Like, let's just call it what it is.
Joe Moorhead is. I mean,
correct.
The guy coaching in Sanix is the guy that was holding this back, I'm sure.
Yes. So that's the first funny part. The second thing that is kind of humorous is within this is a media day press conference, and he's already chiding the media for breaking rules that they haven't yet established, right? Like, hey,
right.
It's almost like a mob threat. Like I would hate for something to happen to you guys where we weren't able to do this in the future. We really want to do this, but we're asking for a few ground rules. It's the same as the Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers in their preseason practice that they ask of their media. So please, abide by these rules. Look, whatever the rules are, we're going to follow them. Right? Like, it's fine. You appreciate the access, especially from the perspective of, I would say, Fitz and myself, where like when Joe Paterno was the coach of Penn State, which was the first 4 or 5 years of my career doing this, it was Live for Life was your media availability, then preseason media day, and then the first press conference before the first game of the season. Like those were the 3 media opportunities that you had that kind of carried you through the summer. It's so much more now. I mean, we're there once a week, which is great. Certainly there are some other programs that do more, but it's a good thing to open this access, I think, a little bit and let people see what Penn State football has going on. So it's interesting, and we'll see how it goes. And hopefully there is some like impression to glean from it, though I really doubt that, right? They're not gonna there will not be any
it's not a full scrimmage. They're not going to be running the things they're running during the first week of the game, for sure.
Correct.
So Fitz, for fans that, with all that known, and it almost sounds like they're going to be confiscating everyone's cell phone by some of the things that I read in the release. What do you have for us in terms of, like, as he said, the news dump part, where the nuts and bolts of what fans need to know about what's coming up next Saturday?
In terms of what fans need to know, I'm not sure. This is something that James Franklin's wanted to do for a while. It's more of a community outreach thing than anything. Like, it's been something that, as Nate said, he's wanted to do for a while. What's been holding that up, I don't know. But I think this is going to be a laid back look into it. They're bringing bleachers in. They're doing all these kind of stuff. Or at least that was the plan. It's been kind of back and forth. The first one said Lash. I think James said Beaver Stadium. I've heard Lash. irrelevant. But it's a cool opportunity to watch practice and also understand that not as much goes on at practice as you think. Like that was always one of the things that players would tell me. It's like, what are you looking for out of this? Like, do we come in, do our stuff and get out of there? Coaches might tell you different on certain days, but I don't think this is going to be one of these days. I don't think it's going to be a ton of scrimmaging. I don't think that, but it's a Saturday evening practice, almost like a fan fest, I would say. Like that's kind of what they're working around. I think Michigan's done this for years, and they've even traveled to do it. And I think that's the way you're looking into it. And James is looking for a way to incentivize people to give for NIL. Like this is kind of what it comes back to. Get those people around the program. And I think that's one thing that you look at the Penn State program, the type of kid that they recruit. And I say kid loosely, obviously, but you're like, if you spend time around these guys, you're going to smile, you're going to feel good, and you're going to feel better about, if you choose to donate to Happy Valley United and do the NIL, I think you're going to feel better about where your money is going if you spend some time around these guys and people that have come out and done NIL events. I know there was, a group that came in around the Elite 11, got to hang out with Nittany and Zane Durant and Trey Wallace and a bunch of these guys, just over the moon at the access that they got and the accessibility to the players and how the players reacted, because, this is a changing world in terms of NIL, but at the same time, it's not all bad. Like it's not this NIL evil stuff. That is not how this kind of works. So I think that this is sort of a fan fest to get people in and see and get them around the Happy Valley United people and just kind of bring people together while others are looking for a way to, sort of, I don't want to say dissolve this or part their ways from it, but like this, I think it's trying to show that this can be a good for everybody.
Yeah. Just to back up kind of something that you mentioned there, watching Nittany in person, either talking to him or at that event where you saw him kind of holding court, there are a few guys that I feel like have that like ooze the superstar of he was just very, very confident, very casual, very comfortable being in front of all these people that just want to be around him. He's got a magnetic personality. So it's also a good thing for these guys in terms of if they have a future in the NFL, if they have a future in public speaking or any of these things, another way for them to help with all of those things and to exhibit all of those skills for Penn State football fans. Speaking of, if you've already booked your and Nate, I'm going to get to you in just 1 second. I just want to make sure.
Go ahead.
We got our fans their game accommodations earlier with Alum Lodge. Now we need to get them to the game with Tixman Gym. Join the most exciting atmosphere in college football with Tixman Gym. If you're looking for a reliable source of Penn State football tickets, Jim at TixmanGym.com, formerly PSUTixman.com, has been running his ticket exchange in Wilmington, Delaware for over 25 years. Every buyer handled with courtesy and respect, and with online transactions, that's super important. Every ticket purchase is guaranteed, and most every ticket is transferred through your Ticketmaster email address. Proceeds are used to fund the PSU AA Chapter Scholarship Fund and the PSU Levi Lamb Fund for athletic scholarships. Get your home opener West Virginia tickets, the Stripe Out, the White Out, your tickets there. Homecoming. There is a jam-packed primetime schedule this year. The Michigan Stripe Out, I know it's at noon. That's a primetime game. All of them at TixmanGym.com. Again, www.tixmangym.com or call 302-521-8380. And you thought me making this graphic this morning for fans, I would have put his phone number on there. Yeah, well, you win some, you lose some. 302-521-8380. Nate, I want to get back to you. I interrupted you from saying there.
No, just very briefly, because I actually looked up the information so that people know. 5:35 to 6:20 outside Haluba Hall. There will be an autograph session, and that is exclusively for Happy Valley United members. And then 6:30, the gates open. Practices at 7:00. So it'll be outside. I mean, without rain, it'll be on the Lash practice fields, of which there are 3. So you can. We'll see how this goes. I think it's going to be a little bit of a mess. I'm not sure how they're going to accommodate that type of fan turnout. If there is a big fan turnout, right? People need bathrooms, right? Like
everyone going into the Haluba Hall bathroom is going to be a problem. Fitz, you're on mute. You're on mute, Fitz.
That was not worth me being on there, so that's fine.
Is anyone selling cotton candy? Like, are there hot dogs?
They said food trucks. The release said there's going to be food trucks and stuff like that.
Okay, I'll be there. I'll be there. I expect people to shout at me.
They don't get a parking ticket that outside of Lash, which is a regular thing for everybody.
The last time they did something like that was at Beaver Stadium in 2021, like the open practice, which was solely open so that recruits could get the first tickets. Because you remember that whole thing? It was like, yes, people were mad they couldn't get tickets. Well, the whole thing was to get recruits there because it was a dead period and they had to buy tickets, free tickets, in order to get there. This is a different setup. I don't really expect recruits to backdoor their way into this one. I mean, some local kids maybe, but not to meet with the staff or anything like that. So, but that was one of my questions, was like, did they had to open it up to everybody, to open it up to the Happy Valley United people? And that was not it. They just wanted to do something spread out, fan fest type thing. There was another location that didn't work out. So, I mean, it's one of these things that I think that just trying to get out there and do some community outreach at a time when, you're trying to get your work in, obviously, but at the same time, like, you're trying to network and go in the right direction. I'll, go back to NIL and Nate here, but it's one of those things that just kind of, bring that connection between those players and the community a little bit closer.